Hey guys, it's Marielle, the Business Alchemist. How are you guys doing? I'm excited because I am interviewing one of my favorite students. Her name is Suzanne Orlando, and she is a licensed clinical social worker therapist. And she is a complete alchemist of anxiety. Like, she helps women really transform their anxiety, the anxiety that holds them back from doing the things that they really want to do in life. And she's amazing at it. So I am bringing her on here in a little bit whenever she gets on here. Hey, I think she's getting on here now. And we're going to talk about how she learned to get visible, to really own her worth, and get clients. So Suzanne's been working one-on-one as a therapist for over 10 years, and she wanted to actually start working virtually and offer coaching services as well as in addition to her therapy practice. And so we started working there. Oh, there she is. Let's go ahead and set view. Let's bring her on. Yay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm outside. There's a lot of landscapers, but this is a better situation than inside with my kids like murdering each other. So
Hear you, girlfriend. I just went in there and I was like, hey guys, my kids are so used to me doing videos, and whenever they come up to me now, they're like, Mom. Gotta train them, girl. Gotta train them. So thank you for joining me. I'm super excited to have you here. I was just introducing you. Today we're talking about how Suzanne, a licensed clinical social worker, therapist, went from having her practice to also incorporating online coaching and offering coaching services in addition where she's completely portable, in addition to her practice. And she is definitely, you're absolutely one of my favorites. And I have a lot of favorites, but you've been through so many of my programs already, from the money mindset to the doing the visibility challenge, to 90 days, to captivating, portable, and profitable. And I've just seen you grow and blossom, and it's just been so amazing because so many people out there, especially coaches and especially like therapists, right, who are used to working one-on-one with people, but it's exhausting, because I was just actually talking to one of my friends who is also a client of mine, and we were talking about how exhausting it is to work 8-hour days and talk to 6 clients during that time. I mean, I don't know how you guys do that, but you are superhuman, superpower, Wonder Woman. So I always, and I know that it's your passion and you love doing it, right?
Yep.
But so I've really seen you go from doing all of your work one-on-one with people to really starting a group program. You filled your group program. You are now working one-on-one virtually with people, and you took it a bit further from just therapy to coaching as well. And you even got paid speaking engagements. Yes. So I can talk a lot. I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about what were you struggling with whenever you and I started working together?
So I, like Marielle said, I've been a psychotherapist in private practice. I want to say, I always lose track of time, but I think it's like 14-ish years right now. And it's always been, it's been it's a really good situation for me. I mean, I love having the flexibility of time and making my own hours. And it's just ideal, especially being a parent of 2 little ones. Right. And in addition to that, I was also a full-time school social worker at one point, working over 40 hours. Combined with the 2 of those things, it was like 60 hours out of the home a week, which was crazy with 2 little kids. I was able to get a part-time position as a school social worker a couple of years ago to kind of offset that out of the house time and focus more on my private practice. But what I was still missing a piece of something. And historically, ever since I was a teenager, I've always been like a connector. I've always been the person that people come to, whether they need something personally or whether they say like, I have this idea, what should I do? And I'm always like great at formulating ways to help people get beyond where they are. And I also found that with kind of putting myself out there in a bigger way on social media, when I was struggling with a lot, I had people coming to me in all walks of life, whether it was people who were immediate friends, people who were coworkers, people who were like acquaintances, or people from a long time ago saying to me like, wow, like what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're struggling with and what you're reconnecting with is really inspiring me to get back to these things that I lost along the way. And at first I was like, well, how the hell am I doing that? I didn't believe that I could be that person that was influencing them. But as the stories kept coming and people kept messaging me, of course I had to start listening to it. It was validating to me that yes, maybe I could be this person. So I would talk to my husband and he'd be like, well, what can you do with this? Like, you're a therapist and, you know, that's wonderful. But these aren't like therapist issues. These aren't like clinical issues. These are things that people are struggling with. Like, how can you create something? And my immediate response to him was, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. I don't know anything about the computer or websites or anything like that. So fast forward, I always had this in the back of my mind, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to create it. I didn't have any. I didn't. So I met Marielle, I met you. I was at a conference from, you know, I'm connected to an MLM also, but I was at a conference and Marielle was a speaker and I had no idea that she was going to be there. And I had to qualify to get to this conference. I didn't know why I needed to do this, but something was telling me to work my ass off to get there. And I did. And when I heard Marielle speaking, she was speaking about money mindset that day. And that's something that I avoid like the plague. I hate talking about money and finances, but I was just like literally where I was sitting in the room. It was just so aligned with where like it was meant that this connection was meant to happen for all of us.
100%. And I loved that conversation. And I remember leaving that speaking engagement and being like, I really like that girl. So when you reached out to me, it was like, I knew there was something, you know, there. So you really kind of like followed your intuition in that capacity. So that's cool. And, you know, let us know, guys, if you have ever struggled with your money mindset, charging what you're worth, owning what you're worth, you know, giving a price to your transformational gifts. Like, that is something that, I mean, you're part of my mastermind now still, and we were talking about this yesterday, how hard it is to own that price. And I did a little exercise with you, and by the time we were done, you were like, what? Like, you were really like, you got it, right? It's really hard. So yes, okay. So when we were first starting to work together, you knew you wanted to do more with your transformational gifts, but you just didn't know what that looked like.
Right.
And you didn't know how to get started.
Right.
You know, should it be an online course? Should it be a group program? How do I do this? And it's something that therapists struggle with a lot, I see, because therapists are, you guys are so highly trained. But with that training also comes this level of, this is how things are done.
Yep.
So you don't break away from the way things are done, right? It's like this structured process.
Yes.
So, and like you said it, that, you know, you and your husband would talk about like, okay, so you know how to do all of this. You have so much knowledge, wisdom, skills, training. But how can you work with people in a non-clinical way?
Right.
So that was like the shift that you had to kind of like go through, right?
Absolutely. And understanding that and putting up, you know, I agree that so many of us as therapists, because there's so many, you know, we carry malpractice insurance and there's so many other layers that we keep in mind. But we have to be flexible in our thinking too, because this is not, what I'm doing here is not therapy. It's not on a clinical level. Yes, I'm taking the skills that I know as a therapist, which levels me up in a sense to other coaches, because I have that in my tool belt. So I'm able to take that and share that with my clients, but we're not doing clinical work. We're doing
in a way,
work.
Right.
Yeah.
In a way from what and I'm very versed in your business now because I helped you create your signature system, and what you do actually kind of takes people to the next level.
Yes.
So it's like when you're in clinical therapy, you're really transforming what's going on in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like with coaching, some people don't understand is with coaching, you actually do some of that work in a little bit of a different way, but then you give action items, you follow through with people, you give them an entire process to walk them through, which is really different from one-on-one sessions.
Absolutely.
Which I've been through that before, and so I really love and that's why I love working with therapists too, because I just feel like you guys are so freaking highly trained that I'm like, oh, it's so underused. Let's create this product and this product, So tell me, what is one of the results that you loved the most as we were working together?
I think what and it speaks to my background as a therapist and what I work with my clients, so many of them on all different levels too, is getting past the fear is the broadest term, but getting past like but I can't do that, but I can't do that, but I can't do that. Like getting past the buts and recognizing that when you take the small steps and with your encouragement, Marielle, for sure. I mean, you are like such an instrumental person in my life. And the fact that, whatever obstacles I was hitting or whatever, I was like, I can't do that. Or how do I do this? Or I don't know how to do this. Or I don't know. Like, not only did you like tell me that I absolutely freaking can do it, but you kind of, you held my hand and you walked me through and you were patient with me through that. And you didn't let me give up. You didn't let me take that obstacle and like stop. You helped me like climb the wall and get over that. And I think that is, I know that's a general broad statement, but I feel like so many of us have so many things in mind that we want to do, and so many things that we like, oh, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could get to this level, or I wish I could create this. But we're stopped and blocked because of those walls, because we don't know how to do it or we don't think we can. So having someone like you to help me through that process and have me understand that I absolutely can do this and I can get through this. And if I just take a breath and you walk me through the steps, I can find ways to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Especially, when you started your visibility, the 30-day visibility challenge.
Yes.
I've always thought that you're already a rock star. Like, you're someone who embraces being vulnerable in public and being completely authentic, right?
Yeah.
But I remember as you were going through the whole thing, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to really do this every day? What am I going to talk about now?
Right.
Like, I'm out of topics to talk about, right?
Right.
So as you've gone through that 30-day challenge, how do you feel about like the topics that you talk about? Because I recently went to your profile a little while ago and I was like, oh my God, all your videos are on there now, which is like so different from before. So how do you feel about your message and what you're putting out through video now as compared to from the beginning?
Right. So in the beginning, as you said, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to feel like I'm a broken record. Like, I'm repeating myself. Like, how much can I talk about? And it's like, I feel like it's the same thing over and over again. But through the process, what I've come to understand, first of all, not the same people aren't, there's going to be people who do binge watch your shit. And there's going to be people who watch everything. But then there's people who might see this one day and then somebody else might catch it the other day. And everything that we talk about, it's not repetitive because there's so many layers to every single thing that we talk about, that I know I talk about, that even if you're talking about a similar, like if the subject is up here and everything like is like branches down here, the subject might be a similar subject, but there's so many pieces to that add value. That video creation it's amazing that we have this platform, because we can talk about one small thing and then another small thing and then another small thing, and it's not repetitive. It's value, and people are loving the value that they feel, and people are taking the shit that I'm talking about and they're messaging me and they're like, I'm doing this, or I'm trying this, or I'm thinking about this in a different way. And how awesome is that we can reach so many people on so many different levels? And oftentimes my favorites are when I put a video out there and I'm like, all right, that was okay. And I don't have like, it wasn't like one of those like, yes, that kicked ass. It was like, all right, that was right. But then people validate it and they're like, I'm so glad you talked about that because you were in my head. And I'm like, oh, and I didn't think anything of that video, but clearly someone else did. So you don't know who you're going to reach and who you're going to touch. And it's all value. It all is.
And how did you feel when you first started getting like discovery sessions from the videos? Were you like shocked?
Yeah, amazing. Because, you know, I think going back to when we put ourselves out there and we're vulnerable, we're our own worst enemies and we second guess everything we do and we feel good about it, but then like we think we overthink it and we don't know that things are going to come of it. So when things start piling in, it just shows, it validates everything that you've done. It validates everything. I feel so validated and like, yes, like I'm hitting people. I'm touching people. I'm a person now. I'm someone in someone's life now who they see hope and they see transformation. And through me, through what I'm saying, they're like, I can do this. And now I found the person that's going to help me get there. And that like,
yeah, totally. There's no better feeling than actually getting paid to help someone. You're like,
yeah, I'm doing this shit anyway. I might as well, you know. And that is something I know you talk about this so much in every program I've been in with you and you've gone into deeper detail about it. But even that, like, should I feel okay about getting paid for this? Should I feel like having that like guilt and that almost like imposter syndrome of am I what am I doing? Like, you feel strange when you get paid to do stuff that you already naturally do. But you shouldn't feel strange about it because you absolutely should get paid for doing stuff that you already naturally do. You're a natural, you're good at it. Why not get paid for it? You know, why not? You're adding value to somebody else. Why not get compensated for that?
And one of the things that you and I worked on a lot is really transferring that that mindset from getting paid by the hour to getting paid for an entire process that you take people through. Like, I know that was a little bit of a shift for you mentally. And a lot of therapists, like, because you guys do things in such specific structured ways, that is one of the biggest struggles that I see. Once we start working together and we create this entire new process that you take your clients through, and it's a high-end process, like, oh shit, now I'm not getting paid $150 or $200 an hour. Now I'm getting paid a lot more, 5 figures for the transformation. It's like, I remember the first time I took someone's credit card for my first signature program, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like this rush of adrenaline, right? Like, just rushed through me. And I was like, did I really just say that number? And did somebody really just say yes to me? And it really, those are the moments that really help you own your shit and really help you, walk your talk. And it's a whole nother level of practice, I think. And it really gives you a ton of, like, not only validation, but responsibility to really show up for that client in a big, huge way, right?
Absolutely.
So what would you say is the peskiest dragon mentally or spiritually that you had to play through this process of working together?
Oh, there's so many of them. And I'm being honest with that because there are, and I think that's what keeps people from making choices to work with somebody like you. I mean, I feel like that's what people, the dragons get in the way, and the doubt gets in the way. And so I think to answer that question is technology for sure, not knowing how to do things, not being confident that I could do things, pricing out my program for sure, and giving away too much shit, giving away that I think has been my biggest obstacle because I am a giver. I want everybody to know it all. I want to help everybody that I can, but understanding that there's a difference between the value of my program and the value and the people that want to invest in my program. I need to save the gold for those people. I need to give them their gold. They're investing their time. They're investing their worth. They're investing their transformation in me. I need to keep that gold for them. And I can share a little bit with everybody, but I can't give away the shit for free,
Right.
It feels good to do that, but I had to learn that. And I still
boundaries, right?
Yeah, I still struggle with that all the time, that I can't. It's no different than as a therapist, being in session, and we there's something that we coined this phrase called doorknob comments. So there are comments that clients might make within the last 2 or 3 minutes of the session that it's like they drop a huge bomb and you're like, I can't let them leave now. And then you learn this as a therapist, and then you continue the conversation, and that spills into your next session, and then you're running late because you couldn't let this client leave with making that doorknob comment without kind of settling the dust a little bit. And it's the same thing. You can't extend you have to set your boundaries. And I think that that's the biggest dragon that I've learned. I've slayed it a lot. I have a big ass sword, and I'm in this awesome armor, and I slay that dragon all the time, but it's something that I do still go up against that.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to
love
do.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that's something that as you grow as an online entrepreneur, you get the hang of more and more and more. How much should I give away for free?
Yep.
And that is still valuable.
Yep.
And how much is it just, me trying to prove to myself that I'm worthy,
Yes, exactly.
and to prove to others that I'm worthy. So
Yep.
it's that delicate balance, I think, is, it's really, really important to know. And I want to congratulate you on your speaking engagements. I know that, now you're starting to get paid to come and speak to corporations about slaying, helping people with their anxiety. And that's really, really awesome. And I'm super proud of you because you are one of those people, you really are my ideal client. You're one of those people that you follow through with everything I've ever taught you. You will take that shit and run with it.
Yeah.
And that's that's why I call you my ideal client, because someone that can really, I can teach systems, I can teach you mindsets, I can teach you how to create a funnel, how to do a Facebook ad, all of that stuff. But I can't do the work for you.
Yes.
You have done it. You have really stepped up to the plate, and you've accomplished all your goals. I remember when you were like, by this date, I am quitting my job. And you did it.
I did it.
You freaking did it. You got paid speaking engagement clients, launched a group program. I mean, it's I'm super proud of you and grateful. And I can't wait to see what we do next.
Yay, me too.
Yay!
We manifested all that shit.
That's right. So thank you, Bib, for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
And if you guys have any questions, definitely, if you're struggling with anxiety, I highly, highly recommend you follow Suzanne here. She is at anxiety_alchemist here on Instagram. And your website, what is your website?
It's SuzanneOrlando.com.
SuzanneOrlando.com.
Yeah.
This girl will set you straight.
Yeah.
All right.
And the free Facebook group is Redefine Your Purposes over on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. And you're doing some really cool stuff in there. Yeah. So definitely go and find her, you guys. Thanks for watching today. Yeah. And I'll be back next week. Some more goodies.
Thanks, Marielle.
All right. Love you. I know. Glad it worked today. Bye, guys. Peace out.
How do we get off this?
Let's see. I'm going to end it.